Hello there, folks, and welcome back to another program. If you're anything like me, you hear certain instruments and certain older music that bring you back. They bring you back to great times, great memories, and you remember exactly where you were in that moment when you first heard it. And there's a reason for that. Specifically, that pop, jazz, funk, soul era of the 60s had a signature sound. Before we begin, I just want to let you know, check out Manza Illustrations. That is my personal business with my wife. We work to bring you high quality, not only children's books, but logo design, character design, gifts of any kind, commission pieces, anything you want done artistically or design-wise. I can make it happen for you. Reach out to Manza Illustrations. The website is right here and also in the description of this video down below. Check out Manza Illustrations today. For example, right here, another thing that tickles my fancy is in the Beach Boys 1965's Kiss Me Baby. That track features a French horn that gives me chills when I hear it. It makes me want to cry in the bridge when Mike Love sings, "Late, late last night, we said it was over." When he sings that line, a French horn in the background and the production goes. The sweet echoey timbre of that sound of that instrument brings emotion to me. Strong emotion. It just makes me tingle just by hearing the production in the background. Today we're not talking about the French horn, but best in show today is the vibraphone. Let us begin to talk about the vibraphone, a piano of sorts. Instead of black keys and white keys, they're all one color and they're slate gray and they're made of steel. How you can get that signature sound is putting your foot down on the pedal when you strike a chord. You can use your sticks to strike a chord and then put your foot on the pedal, and it opens up the chamber that lets it echo and lets it reverberate. It's a sustain pedal of sorts, and then you could stop it. You can hit sharp staccato type of beats and melodies more with a percussive element to it if you don't put down the sustain pedal. But the sustain pedal is just beautiful. It just paints such a light and warbly, ethereal vibe when you hit the sustain pedal on any kind of chord when you're playing the vibraphone. I love it as a background element in most 60s jazz, funk, and Motown, and pop. And in some ways, artists have begun to bring back the vibraphone. I have to give credit where credit is due, and She and Him, Volume 2, features a lot of vibraphone in the background. Specifically, songs like Lingering Still and Home feature a great sound in the background of vibraphone. Vibraphone really set the scene for music in the late 50s with artists like Lionel Hampton. Lionel Hampton making the vibraphone very popular with his albums in jazz. His jazz albums featured a quick, knowledgeable sense of the instrument and played it in a jazz sense, more like a piano, and not as a supporting instrument in the back of production for the sound of Motown. Truth be told, She and Him is extremely influenced by 50s and 60s music of the era of the mid-century, and thus they implement those sounds in modern day music, and I appreciate that. For instance, take this record from 1968. This Stevie Wonder compilation features a song that gets vibraphone 100%. Songs like Uptight, Everything's Alright, really feature a great vibraphone in the background. I was never even a glimmer in my father's eye when this music came out, but for some reason it makes me feel so at home and so warm and cozy when I hear that little strike of the vibraphone in music. I might be weird, but this is a sensory thing for me, and I'm sure that you guys have it with certain sounds of the piano and songs and stuff like that, or any instrument for that matter. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, this is a great one right here. I can hear hints of the vibraphone underneath all the mixing in songs like Tears of a Clown. This I grew up with, love this stuff. My uncle introduced me to that. More specifically talking about uncles and aunts, my aunt introduced me to the Stylistics. The Stylistics, their music not only features things like the sitar in modern pop, funk, Motown styling music, the sitar, but also the vibraphone. Songs like You Are Everything, from the stylistics. In the chorus there you can hear. And then of course I can't fail to mention how artists like Martin Denny got influenced by people like Lionel Hampton to create their own sort of exotica music from the 60s, including Quiet Village as a reputable source of vibraphone music. Heavy-handed and enjoyable sound to the ear. The exotica music of the 60s. All exotica music features some kind of vibraphone. Today we are talking about the use of vibraphone in pop music from the 60s. A great pickup and something to check out if you're just getting into this kind of sound is Phil Spector's music. Now this compilation, as the kids say, bops. I mean, it's got everything. It's got everything you could want. Not only are there so many songs on this compilation, but the fact is, he just knew how to lay a track down with layers and layers of music, most of which include the vibraphone as a bass. Listen for the vibraphone in a Ronettes album. I mean, the vibraphone is there wholeheartedly. Take a track like Baby Love, for example. I mean, talking about women groups from the 60s, the Ronettes and the Supremes really had a good handle on bringing the vibraphone out, letting it kind of stand alone, especially when the music drops out and all you hear is that and the percussion. You hear the vibraphone and the drums going, and then the band comes back in at certain points. I just love that. I just love it when the vibraphone blends into the background and you kind of listen for it, and you do hear it at times. And when you do, it strikes a great sense of feeling and purpose in me. I love that. I was a marching band member, and I was in the pit with the percussion. And guess what I got to play? Not only the glockenspiel, which are the little bells, the little version of a xylophone, but the vibraphone. I played that and the marimba. And it's not so much that these songs remind me of my days in the pit in the marching band. It's more the fact that they remind me of just a better time, a more simpler time, a more fun time. The 60s, a time I was not there for. Take songs like Just Once in My Life and all of these Righteous Brothers kind of tracks, really layering sounds and moods together via the vibraphone and other instruments to really make a great sound. And that's all Phil Spector. These are on Philly's records. I know for a fact you've heard the vibraphone in The Temptations. It's in classics like My Girl and Ain't Too Proud to Beg. And the way you do the thing you do. The vibraphone not only hits home, but paints a landscape of colors through music. It paints a color when it hits and strikes in a production, in a bed of music, in a bed of sound. You hear it, and it really it stands out. The most notable example for me is from Summer Days and Summer Nights. I mean, just songs like Salt Lake City. When the band drops out, the alto sax does the bass notes. Then we get the strike of the vibraphone right before the band comes right back in with the piano and the bass, drums, guitar. That breakdown in Salt Lake City is fantastic, and you hear it more often. You specifically hear the vibraphone most on this album from the Beach Boys, and it's very dense in the way where I hear it on The Girl from New York City in the background. It's there. Also, Let 'Em Run Wild features a vibraphone in the background. Listen for it and see what you think about it. It was not only Brian Wilson being influenced by Phil Spector's music, Ronettes and that kind of sound and that kind of music, but it was their own way of mixing and their own way of bringing that out, where I can hear it and it lends itself so naturally to the sound that was that album. I would really love to know, I really want to know if you guys have a certain instrument in mind that brings you somewhere happy when you hear it in the production bed on songs from the 60s. The vibraphone is a transportive instrument. It no doubt is. I think that's the reason, that's one of the reasons why it was chosen for all those exotica tracks. For some reason, it brings a dreamy, sort of ethereal, kind of misty-eyed vibe to it. I get sentimental over hearing the vibraphone, and I don't know why. I mean, that in the French horn and Kiss Me Baby, I'll mention that again. It's just so good, so heartwarming and sweet. It gives me chills. What instruments in music give you the chills? For a lot of people, it's the lyrics and the way people sing things. It's voices that bring on the chills for people. But specifically the music. I want to know what in music brings you a sense of, wanting to cry over this beautiful music you are hearing. I want to know. Write a comment down below. So folks, that was Best in Show Vibraphone today. What do you think of this new series? What do you think of doing a little new series like this, short videos featuring some of the best instruments in 60s pop music that really set that really set a standard of why we love this kind of music still to this day. I want to know if you love it. Give this video a like if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, and look out for the next episode of Manza Media. I just want to thank you guys for watching these videos. I'm getting more and more comments as the channel grows. Let's try to hit 1,000. I see that a lot of you are loving this channel. Are you subscribed? Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I look at the analytics sometimes and I see a little percent is subscribed and the big majority is unsubscribed, but they're watching. It really helps me to continue to be inspired to make these videos for you. If you comment and like the video, share the video, I'll keep making the videos. We really appreciate you supporting Manza Media. It really, really means a lot. You guys are the best. And with that out of the way, you can find me lounging to a melody. Take care, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Thank you, folks, for tuning into this episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can see some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.